Hi, I'm Albert Bowkett and I'm from Perfinal Core Banking, and this is clip 8 in my series of Core Banking Essential FAQs. Today's frequently asked question is, what problems does core banking still need to solve in order to embrace a digital automated future? So, as I established, hopefully in my previous clip, the new core banking platforms solve 3 fundamental legacy issues: networking flexibility and adaptiveness to new products. They do this by ditching the old mainframe and monolithic design in favor of cloud-native and microservice architecture. I said 3 fundamental legacy issues. The third is, as a result of networking flexibility and adaptiveness to new products, you get a solution to the technical debt and spaghetti systems of the past. So, problem solved, right? Well, this is where history jumps up like a little terrier and bites you on the behind. If you've been following this series closely, you'll remember I said that core banking was a science before it became a software. And in the process of becoming a software, some of the science got left out. Core banking is a multidisciplinary science. It comprises finance, law, and business logic, with IT providing another dimension. As long as any required elements from any of the disciplines are omitted, the system is not automating the full science of core banking, and in many cases, not even automating end-to-end the processes it purports to automate. That means workflows have to be completed manually in order to complete the science of core banking, so that transactions are financially complete and legally compliant. And that means you can't have real-time operation. These analytical omissions, because that's what they are, also pose a problem for that highly cherished capability, the ability to add new products. Despite being routinely touted as a silver bullet for connectivity and interoperability, APIs cannot magic up missing analytics to provide for the required legal and business logic elements that are required to automate in new products to the system. And they cannot translate semantics out of context. Instead, each connection must be individually and manually constructed and maintained, with an expert providing the missing analytics, an expert who is cognizant of the correct context. That's not such an issue on day 1 or even day 100, but as more connections are added and more changes are made, each new product addition poses more work and more complexity. This starts to introduce drag, and when that drag starts delaying introduction of new products, that's when business forces development to reach for temporary workarounds and quick fixes, and so the spaghetti swamp monster rears its ugly head again. Like the technical debt of the past legacy systems, the problem manifests over time as the debt compounds. Only this time it's not technical debt, but rather analytical debt. Now, it's important to recognize that we aren't talking here about analysis of data. Rather, analytics here is at the other end. That is, analytics is about the formation of data and semantics. How do you create the information that a computer needs to know to understand the multidisciplinary science of core banking? The answer to that is you create analytics and a classification system for those analytics, so that rather than creating a set of arbitrary directions for a blind system and hoping the path doesn't change, you instead give the system the information it needs to see, to be reactive, adaptive, and even proactive in the way it carries out processes that necessarily operate within a multidisciplinary and continually evolving environment. So, why haven't these new core banking platforms grasped the analytical nettle? Well, firstly, because the move from on-premise mainframe to cloud native is already considered disruptive enough for banks. Large financial institutions, which adhere to the 4 nines principle of maintaining service availability 99.99% of the time, which only allows 52.6 minutes downtime per year, are understandably cautious about any tinkering at the heart of their systems, which is not proven to be absolutely necessary. The idea of not having your system, and indeed your company and customer data, safely locked away in your vault, and instead having it in remote servers located around the world, is also a very big step outside the traditional comfort zone for banks. Most large financial institutions who have taken this leap of faith have done so within the relative safety of a pilot project, safely ring-fenced from their existing operations, in some cases under a different brand. The mood music is very much that banks have accepted the long-term need to move away from mainframe core banking, but they want to test the replacement first. And top of their list for testing is the reliability and security of cloud native. And second is the ability to quickly launch new products using microservice-based architecture. And that's already enough sleepless nights for most bank managers. Secondly, creating a classification system for multidisciplinary analytics is hard. Few people train in a multidisciplinary way. Few companies are organized in this way. Few products are designed in this way. Modern human civilization has rather favored specialism and division of labor. That's why we have lawyers in a legal department. We have developers in a development team. We have business executives in the business team. And we have our financial executives in the finance department. And not surprisingly, the way core banking platforms have always been designed kind of reflects this departmental way of thinking. That doesn't mean that all departmental organization is bad and multidisciplinary is the new mantra. We need to be careful about setting up false dichotomies and adding to the pile of industry buzzwords. Departmental organization is simply a kind of classification system for institutions, and multidisciplinary analytics for core banking is just another kind of classification system. Rather, what Perfinal's designers are trying to say is that core banking is a specialized science that doesn't neatly slot into existing departmental structures. So if you want to automate, firstly, the continual operation processes in real time, and secondly, the process of generating new code to support new connections without accruing analytical debt, it's not like you need to radically dispense with departments on the business level, but you do need to aim for seamlessness on the technical level. And to do that, you need to aim for seamlessness on the analytical level. And to do that, you need multidisciplinary core banking knowledge, which has always been quite well guarded. Thirdly, and most importantly, creating multidisciplinary analytics entails breaking silos. And breaking silos entails the various stakeholders listening to one another in a culture of humility and openness, not qualities the financial and technology worlds are traditionally famous for. That applies to different departments within organizations, different industry segments, and also in the value chain communication from end customers to service providers to tech purchasers to tech providers. All noble, salutary, aspirational stuff. But if analytics represents the abstract, fundamental challenge as we look ahead to a digital, automated, real-time future, then what about the more specific, surface-level, business-level challenges? In my next clip, I'm going to make some predictions based on emerging trends and technology, about some of the most pressing challenges and the most novel solutions that we are likely to soon see in core banking.